Finding an affordable place for your family to live can be one of the greatest challenges in a growing city like Austin. So when city leaders pump money into affordable housing projects, shouldn't someone watch how your tax dollars are spent?
Tonight, KXAN investigator Kylie McGivern reveals millions going to places labeled repeat offenders, racking up health and safety complaints over and over.
There's no hot water.
After 5 years in Cross Creek Apartments, Jorge Menchaca wishes his kitchen held more of the comfort of home.
And how would you describe your time here?
Horrible.
Jorge gets by with temporary solutions.
This is a quick fix that I got at Walmart. So my fix is just put this in there to hold it. They're small, it's ugly. So I just fixed it myself to make it look a little better, nicer.
It's become a never-ending task.
There's a big hole. That's what they do. It just tape it and put glue.
We first told you Cross Creek Apartments found itself in the crosshairs of an injunction, the city requiring it make necessary repairs for dangerous code violations threatening public safety. A lawsuit filed last summer indicates a code compliance officer followed up on a complaint of no hot water 13 times in 6 months and discovered the same problem every time.
So basically, it's the whole apartment is falling apart and they don't care.
Cross Creek is one of 4 complexes on Austin Code's repeat offender list that have also received city funding ranging between $2 and $13 million to help provide affordable housing. Other properties include the Palms on Lamar, Fairway Village Apartments, and Villas del Sol.
My heart is in affordable housing.
We caught up with Royce Mulholland, who owns the Palms and Cross Creek, to find out what the deal is.
I do it because I believe people of low and modest means deserve a high-quality home to live in. A learning center.
Mulholland points to renovations at the Palms as an example of how he plans to transform Cross Creek.
And yet the Palms and Cross Creek remain on the repeat offender list.
Well, you know, I mean, if you get hit 50 times for having chewing gum or some silly sort of thing, you get put on that list. It's an abomination. I think if we had a fair shake from the code compliance, we never would have been on the repeat offender list. I think if the code compliance did their job in the previous 30 years at Cross Creek, they wouldn't have let the property deteriorate.
Austin Code says once a new property owner takes over, they have 90 days to get into compliance.
And do you feel that that's a fair time frame to get in compliance?
It's a very fair time period.
Mulholland took over Cross Creek 2 years ago.
Well, it's a complaint basis. We're not out looking to find violations on the property. Someone has to call in to make a complaint.
At the time of our request, Austin Code had nearly 130 complaints from tenants at Cross Creek.
It's falling apart.
It's just one property on a list of repeat offenders that's only grown over the last 3 years.
We started out with only 25 properties. We're up to 78 properties now.
That's just with 3 inspectors. In all reality, the list could be even longer.
If we had more resources, yes, we would be able to cover more.
Mulholland calls on city leaders to review what he calls the code department's tactics and work with owners like him willing to invest and provide affordable housing.
You think another guy's going to come in and build affordable housing? No, it's going to go to market.
Questions are being asked because just because you're providing affordable housing doesn't mean that there's no scrutiny.
I welcome scrutiny, and I've answered every violation that's been addressed.
But Jorge doesn't buy it after what he calls empty promises.
Anybody can promise anything. He doesn't do anything.
And a year-long delay with still no signs of construction.
And we need some action, either from the city, the owner, whoever, you know, something.
Something so vulnerable tenants aren't left with nothing to show for their struggle. At the end of June, a judge granted the city's request to issue a temporary injunction against the owners of Cross Creek, who agreed to make repairs to the hot water lines within 45 days. This Sunday marks the deadline. Cross Creek is still awaiting financing that should permit the owners to make repairs and upgrades to the complex. The money is expected next month, the same time a compliance hearing is scheduled. Now, earlier on KXAN News at 6, I pressed Neighborhood Housing and Community Development, the department responsible for the millions of your tax dollars given to places like Cross Creek. You can watch the interview extra in this story on KXAN.com. But I asked them, is there a better way to avoid these situations? For starters, they said they could check for problems with Austin code before giving any money away. Cross Creek has racked up more than $200,000 worth of code fines within the last 9 months alone. So you can be sure that I will be checking back on this.
And Kylie, in the meantime, what should people do if they have concerns about where they're living?
Well, Shannon and Robert, the easiest thing to do is to call 311. Keep in mind, though, right now there's about a 2-day wait for an officer to come out.
And we know you'll keep looking into this. You've been doing it since the beginning of the year when you first discovered this problem, and you'll keep on top of it. We know that. Thank you, Kylie.
And our team has made it easy for you to see which properties are on this repeat offender list. Check out our interactive map in this story in the investigative section of KXAN.com. And if you have something you want us to investigate, email us at report@KXAN.com.